So after you start the software, and it's time to set up your microscope. So you can set up your microscope from the device list. This is a function you set up in the software with the proper parameter to tell the software what kind of hardware you have on your microscope, so the software can communicate with the hardware on your microscope properly to control the microscope. You can see the device list here under the start page, or if you can't find it here, and it's under the acquire, and go to the device, and you can see the device list here. It will lead to the same thing. So if you click on it, it comes out as a window here, and the first you can see the configuration here, which is I saved as a configuration for this microscope. So each time when you set up the configuration under the device list, you can save it as a separate file and keep it safe. So later on, when someone changes the setup, and you can reload the configuration, so the software will communicate to the microscope with exactly the setup to make it working. It's sort of like a reset point. It's always good to save this configuration. And under here, you have to choose your microscope frame. There's a drop-down menu with many of the microscope frames supported. For our one, it's IX83 2-DAC frame. And then they ask you to choose a camera. And in this case, we have a photometric prime 95B camera, which is a fantastic camera. And this is mounted on the left side, on the side camera port. Sometimes you can mount it on the front. If you have a different trinocular head, you can choose that one. Probably not for this camera, it's quite a big camera. And as you can see, they support multiple cameras here. You can choose camera 2 or camera 3, as long as there's a way for you to mount it on the frame. And click on the microscope. They ask you for what kind of nose piece you have. It's quite important that if you have a motorized or manual or encoded nose piece, choose it correctly. So I'll tell the software what kind of nose piece you have. It's important because you're linked with the objective lens you choose later on. So when you click on the screen with each different objective lens, the software will recognize which lens you have. And also you can choose the DIC prism. Currently it's not used. As you can see, there's quite a few options you can choose. We actually have this one. I can just choose manual one. If you leave the device not used, it just simply not recognize it. If it's a manual one, if you know it, you can leave it blank, but I recommend that you should choose it. For the filter views, the deck one, we have a mirror turret. This is where you put your fluorescent cube in it to do fluorescent microscopy. And for the ZDC, we have the IX3 ZDC. It's quite clever software. If you change the setting here, it will immediately recognize it, and you try to talk to the device. If you choose the wrong setting, for example, I have a ZDC 1 on the microscope, but if I choose ZDC 2, it won't work. It will bounce back with the error message, say I can't find the device because it's not the right device you choose compared to whatever you choose in the software. Reflected pathway, and you can choose your lamp. This only supported lamp, or the lamp we already installed the driver will be here. For example, if you have a Lumen Core Spectral X lamp installed, but you can't see it here, which means you didn't really install the driver properly. You have to go back to the setup, make sure you tick the box of the Lumen Core Spectral X, and after you finish the installation, here is going to be a drop-down option for the Lumen Core Spectral X here for you to choose from. Similar with the filter wheels and the shutters. And you keep going on the transmitted light path, and we have a lamp here, halogen lamp. It's important that we choose this one so the computer actually can talk to the lamp to adjust the voltage, to adjust the intensity to the lamp when you do imaging. If you leave it not used, you won't be able to control the lamp through the software. Stimulator, usually you don't have to worry about this one unless you have to run some stimulation experiment. It basically allows you to stimulate certain things without the actual hardware attached on the microscope. And once you complete, you can just click OK. For the interface, you will notice there's an interface option here. If you open it, they will ask you if the configuration has been modified. Do you want to save it or confirm OK? You confirm OK, I want to save it. So it'll save the changes I just made. And it'll initialize the device, and here comes the interface window, and you can see the interface is basically how your software is communicating with your computer. You can choose different COM. If you have a multiple serial port, you can choose it from here. If you have a USB devices plugged in, here's where you can see the COM port. You can manage it. If you know what port it is, you just set it up directly from here. If you don't know the COM port, you may have to do a bit of trial and error experiment here to find exactly the COM port. Sometimes you have multiple devices plugged in, that can cause conflict if you choose the same COM port for the different devices.